Hello, in this video I'd like to talk about the point edit widget and the enhancements to the point edit widget found in the unofficial update for trueSpace. I'm going to right click to go into point edit mode, and I'll select all the faces. First I'll start by going through the standard widget controls. You got your movement controls, and you got your triangle movement controls. This will move in the X and Z plane. This one in the Y and Z. And finally the XY plane. If you use the right mouse button on these triangles, then it'll move perpendicular to the triangle. So if I right click this triangle, it'll move in the Y direction. And right click here to move up and down, and so on. For the rotation, we have these arcs here. Rotate around the X, Y, and the Z axes. Then we have the scale controls, scale in X, Y, and Z. Now if you use the right mouse button, it'll scale proportionally, no matter which of the scales that you choose. And I'm going to select just one face. If I rotate it, it looks like so. And I make sure of something. I want my axis to be in the center. So I'm going to freeze that. So now the axis is in the center of the shape there. Go back into point edit mode. Select the face. Now if I left click on the face, it'll just rotate around that face. But if I use the right mouse button, it'll rotate around the pivot point. Now I can set the pivot point. I'll go to edge mode, select this edge. If I press P and then click on the controls, it'll set the axis at that point. Now when I rotate this face with the right mouse button, it'll rotate around that new axis. Okay. Now select everything again. Now if I middle mouse click on any of these movement bars, the move tool will become active, and then I can just go to any blank space and move it around using the left or right mouse button. Yeah, and I middle mouse click to exit that tool. If I middle mouse click on any of the rotations, get the same sort of thing. You can come out here and rotate. Middle mouse click again to end the tool, and middle mouse click on any of the scales to open the scale tool. And middle mouse click to end that tool as well. Now I can lock the motion by middle mouse clicking on the bars. If I middle mouse click on the x-axis bar here, it'll lock the axis. My mistake. Not middle mouse. Let me cancel the movement tool. Press Alt key, left mouse button. Now the x-axis is locked, and I can't move it on that axis, though I can move it on the others. And it's the same thing for any others. I can lock the Z, You can see the locks happening down here in the toolbars. I'll toggle it back on. Now there's some center controls. If I left mouse click on the center, I can move it around. If I middle mouse click on the center, I can move the widget, and it'll still behave the same way. It'll just be in and out of the way place. I can get to the settings, including scale for the entire widget, by control right mouse clicking on the center. And here I have the point edit widgets. I'm going to control drag that out so it doesn't close on me. And there I can control the size of the widget with this control. And I can turn on off the on operating visibility. Basically what that means is when you use a control, it stays visible. Like I use that move, you can see the double arrow is visible. If I turn that off and then select everything, now when I move, it's not visible anymore. Same thing with the rotations. Everything just becomes invisible. So I'm going to turn that back on. Okay. Now I can shift left mouse on the widget to cycle through the different types of widgets. They get different styles. And back to my original. And then for mouse sensitivity, each of the controls can be control left mouse button. And that'll open up the sensitivity controls. So if I control left click on a bar, I'll get the movement sensitivity controls here in the upper right. Same thing, if I control click on the rotation, I get the rotation sensitivity. And same thing for scale. Control click, I get the scale settings. And that's all the new controls in the enhanced point edit widget found inside the unofficial update for trueSpace. Thanks for listening.